extremism can beget extremism, and that's what we don't want to see.
I wanted to kind of push the envelope in terms of how cyclists give back.
A lot of good people here in Lawrence willing to help in any way that they can.
Temperatures tonight will drop down below zero, so what does that make for the low temperatures for tonight? We'll show you the forecast coming up.
You're watching WOW 6 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Tabitha Mills. The cold sweeps through Lawrence today and it will continue into tomorrow. But how cold will it get? For that, we go to Chief Meteorologist Rick Catsby. Hey, Rick.
First Weather is brought to you by Allied Auto Body CarStar.
Well, Tabitha, it looks like it's going to drop overnight tonight. Early, even by midnight, we could see our morning lows just after midnight. Right now, we have a beautiful clear sky, nice looking sunset out to the west, and it's all crystal clear. 8 degrees right now, the current temperature. Feels like 8 below right now, so that's a pretty strong wind chill with a north-northwest wind at 13 miles per hour. And looks like, again, temperatures will begin to fall once the wind stops blowing, and it will for a while. It'll go calm. We'll drop the temperatures throughout. Right now, we're anywhere from 6 to 8 or 9 degrees right now. And we'll drop to probably below freezing tonight. So the outlook calls for around 7 o'clock, should be around 7 degrees, -2 by midnight. Then slowly climb with south winds. By 6 o'clock in the morning, should be around 4 above zero with a wind chill of -15 to -19. So that's kind of a cold start tomorrow morning. Then the southerly winds and warm temperatures begin to increase with highs back into the 20s by later on tomorrow afternoon. The rest of the forecast, is there any further warm up? We'll show you that coming up, Tabitha.
Here's hoping. Thanks, Rick. Well, temperatures are dropping into the single digits, as you just heard, putting elderly community members at risk. The winter season can be a difficult time, especially for senior citizens living alone. Midland Care of Lawrence is encouraging residents to check on elderly neighbors and friends to prevent serious injury from the cold.
We just really encourage people to pay a little bit more attention and help maybe with, snow removal and winterizing, the obvious things. Keep an eye on them. It can be really hard to get pets out when it's cold for seniors. It's more of a fall hazard, so that's a really big thing that you can do to help out.
According to senior care professionals, those over the age of 65 account for nearly half of all hypothermia deaths due to poorly heated homes. And although it didn't snow much last night, it is that time of year, and most likely we'll see another snowfall that we might have to get our shovels and shovel out our driveways. But for the elderly, that's something that sometimes they can't do or shouldn't do. Take it from Bob Beebe, who lives on Connecticut Street in Lawrence. He says if it wasn't for the Safe Winter Walkways program, he doesn't know what he would do when it snows.
Don't be afraid to ask. That was one of the biggest things here. There's a lot of good people here in Lawrence willing to help in any way that they can, like shoveling your snow. It's so wonderful to see somebody come over.
But here's the deal. There's a shortage of volunteers for the Safe Winter Walkways program. So that means some elderly residents will be without a clear walkway and a friendly face.
It's actually pretty rewarding. You always get to go out. There's awesome elderly people in Lawrence. They're so excited when you come out to shovel their walks. They always come out and talk to you. You have to make them go back inside because it's cold. It's really an awesome opportunity.
Now, only 8 to 10 volunteers are needed, and tonight at 10 on 6 News, find out more about the program and how you can help. So far, 8 candidates have filed to run for a spot on the Lawrence City Commission. That means that there will be a primary election on March 3rd. There are 3 seats open on the commission. 7 or more candidates have to file for there to be a primary election. The filing deadline is noon on January 27th. The general election will be held on April 7th. And because of new privacy laws in Kansas, the number of students participating in drug testing has declined. An amendment to a data privacy bill now requires parental permission before students answer any surveys with questions about issues such as sex, religion, or family life. About 100,000 Kansas students filled out the survey in previous years, but the number this year could be as low as 25,000. 3 suspects are identified in an attack this morning in Paris, France. The attack was on offices of a French magazine. The attack this morning left 12 people dead, including journalists and police, and at least 11 others wounded. Sunlen Surfati explains how the attack unfolded.
Here in the streets of Paris, with the threat level raised to the highest level and a massive manhunt underway. At least 2 gunmen are still at large, seen here in this video taken Wednesday of the attack. Investigators are now painstakingly going through the video frame by frame. Sources say close attention is being paid to this moment when a gunman appears to raise his finger in the air, possibly signaling to another car or person. Other clues: the gunmen appear to have military training, are well organized, and shout, "We have avenged the prophet" in French. Police now have what they believe is the getaway car. Forensic investigators will run DNA tests on the car, looking for soil signatures, which could suggest where the gunman came from.
We need to find the actors of this terrorist act. They must be arrested and brought before judges and condemned as quickly as possible.
In the Oval Office, President Obama today condemned the killings and stated the United States' support for France.
For us to see the kind of cowardly, evil attacks that took place today, I think reinforces once again why it's so important for us to stand in solidarity with them.
U.S. counterterrorism agencies are now helping in the investigation, looking at a number of groups, including ISIS and Al-Qaeda, who might be responsible. And I'm Sunland Sarfati.
The U.S. Homeland Security Secretary has not said whether he will consider raising the terror threat in the U.S. KU professor Raj Bahala believes the terrorist attack could have backlash locally and lead to misunderstanding.
If people wrongly misunderstood that these killers were representing authentic Sharia teaching, which they're not, and started acting untowardly towards people of other faiths, including Islam. So extremism can beget extremism, and that's what we don't want to see.
He then went on to say that he was heartened that both the Arab League and Al-Azhar University condemned the attacks. A state efficiencies panel recommends that Kansas school districts be audited annually. The group decided to recommend a bill requiring annual audits, but added language saying the legislature must pay for them after they were chastised for considering an unfunded mandate. The panel was appointed last year to identify potential cost savings in school spending plans. And coming up from coast to coast with just a bike, meet the man riding across the golden wheat fields of America who stopped in Lawrence today. That's when 6 News at 6 continues.
Plus, the Kansas men's basketball team is deep in the hearts of Texas. I am Kevin Romery. I'll have that preview coming up later in sports.
Local news, weather, and sports. From your community, you're watching WOW 6 News. 6 News is brought to you by Visiting Nurses. The Market Update is brought to you by Pod's Discount Carpet.
The Lawrence community received a special visitor this morning. 6 News reporter Amina Smith is live in the studio to tell us more about his stop into town. Hey, Amina.
Thanks, Tabitha. One man has taken giving back to the community to a whole new level. Courtney Bibb, who is a New York native, is biking over 3,000 miles across the country to work with local nonprofits and has made a stop right here in Lawrence to lend a helping hand. From the concrete jungle to the Golden Coast, one man has embarked on a journey stopping into town to lend a helping hand at Theater Lawrence along the way.
I put a lot of thought process into this project. It wasn't something that just had, I'm trying to do a fly-by-night type of idea. I wanted to kind of push the envelope in terms of how cyclists give back.
And the preparations for this long adventure didn't quite happen overnight.
I committed to it physically. My first goal was to try to get up to about 40 miles. Once I got to the 40-mile mark, I pushed it to, okay, if I can get up to 80 miles, I was good.
Bibb also says this is a journey he embarked on to take a more hands-on approach to giving back to local nonprofits.
It's about the volunteers honoring the mission statement. That's the reason why I chose to do this ride, and I wanted to give back in the best way I could.
6.5 months and over 3,000 miles is no easy feat, but this biker says it's the people along the way that make it well worth it.
It's something that, I want to be able to tell this story to my nephew, my nieces, and eventually to my own children one day, about seeing my country in a completely different perspective.
Going forward, Bibb says there's only one way to view the rest of his trip.
And I don't think about the end of the trip, because I don't want that to overwhelm me in a sense. Let me make it into the next town. Let me find out what's going on there. Let me find out the history.
The next stop on Courtney's cross-country adventure is Wichita. If you're interested in following his inspiring journey on social media, you can head to 6lawrence.com and click on links. Live in studio, I'm Amina Smith. Back to you, Tabitha.
Biking across country in this weather, Rick.
Yeah,
That's
at least
cold.
it's going south to Wichita,
Yeah,
where
that's
it's much
true.
warmer.
That's true. Thank
Not
you to
really.
Amina for that great story as well. But yeah, we're going to get colder though.
Yes, and we'll see the temperature drop tonight. Even before midnight, we'll probably hit new lows for the day and also our lows for tomorrow morning. And so it'll happen pretty quickly tonight as we drop down below zero for tonight. So the high and low is a little bit misleading. That occurred at midnight, the 20 degrees just after the snow came. The 8 degree is the current temperature and nowhere near the average for this time of year. No rainfall or snowfall today. We did measure 0.01 of the snow last night, and we'll see if there's any more in the 6-day forecast, which is coming up next.
Have a news tip? Call 6 News at 832 News. Weather brought to you by McDonald's of Lawrence.
So from today through Saturday, we're going to see north winds to south winds, back to north, back to south. It'll be back and forth every other day, and that'll keep our temperatures kind of on the chilly side because even as we warm up, the wind chill will be a factor, especially tomorrow with south winds at around 20 miles per hour, maybe higher. That'll keep us feeling cool, even though we're going to be warmer tomorrow. We're going to show you what's happened, and we've taken you back a couple hours and show you this time-lapse video of we headed off to the northwest and show you the power plants. And of course, when you have cold temperatures, you have lots of steam, and that is just water vapor that's rising and dissipating as it rises up, and kind of a cool shot as the sun sets on that little cloud of water vapor. 8 degrees the current temperature. Look at the barometer. The barometer is quite high, 31.07. I have honestly not seen that high of a barometer since I've been doing weather, so that's a very strong high pressure right on top of us, and the winds are still northwest at 13. They will go calm this evening, and that will drop the temperatures very quickly. Probably in the next couple hours, we'll see it start heading down toward zero or below zero, and by midnight, we should be at below zero. There's the pocket of colder air up to the north and west of us, northeast that is. Look at this warm temperatures out over the southwest, 72 right now, current temperature in Las Vegas, Nevada, the minute to the 80s over parts of Southern California today. That's the place to be. Current temperature here is 8 degrees above zero, northwest winds at 13 miles per hour. Calm winds in Kearney, that's where the high located right now. That'll settle over us tonight. Around midnight, it'll be over eastern parts of Kansas. Light winds. And then by late tonight and tomorrow morning, that high pressure will drift off toward the southeast. Will be over southeast Missouri. At that point, winds will be fairly strong tomorrow morning from the southwest, and that'll give us a cool or chilly wind chill. Wind chill values tonight into tomorrow morning running around 15 to maybe as low as 19 below zero tomorrow morning. So once again, another cold start tomorrow with south winds trying to blow the cold air out of the way. It will get to somewhere in the middle 20s for tomorrow. Then by late day, a cold front comes in, and that'll begin to drop the temperatures back down for Friday. So south winds tomorrow, north winds on Friday, south winds on Saturday, and eventually a warm up. 30 degrees by Saturday, looks like a warmer day. 35 with lesser winds on Sunday. That'll be the warmer day of all the next several. And then as we go into the next week, there's a chance for some snow on Tuesday. Right now it's at 30%. So breezy conditions, north-south, north-south. You got to get the picture. But look at the morning lows. 1 below, 9 above, 1 above on Saturday.
Makes you want to cry a little bit.
That's cold stuff. Today was cold.
It was.
Yes.
It was a rough time to take my dog out at 5 a.m. this morning, so wasn't a big fan.
Lots of layers.
Yes. Thank you, Rick. Well, the cold temperatures may have you running indoors, but if you want to exercise outside, we have a few tips for hitting the icy pavement. That's next.
Select Warn Radar is brought to you by Niehoff Dunko.
If you're determined to go for a little run or exercise a little outside in these cold temperatures, make sure to keep a few things in mind. Health professionals at Lawrence Memorial Hospital want you to keep these things in mind. First, the basics. Watch for icy covered roads and sidewalks, and hydration is key because when it's cold, Most people tend to think about don't tend to think about drinking a cool glass of water. And finally, bundle up.
There's lots of things that people can do to stay active and yet be safe while they're out in the very frosty weather. And of course, the most important thing is to layer, wearing as many layers as you can, and layers that breathe, and always make sure that you are able to take off a layer if you get too warm. And so rather than being too cold, it's better to be a little bit overdressed and then be able to remove something.
And most importantly, Anderson says always know what's expected outside during the time you plan to exercise in case any dangerous changes occur. And if you are looking to exercise tonight with some ice skating, you won't be able to do it at the Library Plaza skate rink. The rink is closed today due to the cold temperatures. It is scheduled to reopen tomorrow, however, with its regular weekday hours of 4 to 8 p.m.
I made the mistake of walking to lunch this afternoon.
It was too cold.
It wasn't far. I only went a block, but it was cold.
It was.
Really cold.
If you walk outside without a scarf or mittens on, you're instantly like...
Instantly. It doesn't take long.
No.
Hands were cold.
Let's talk about something inside, right?
Good news.
Basketball,
If it's going to be cold, you might as well sit around home tonight and watch a road basketball game. And that's what's going to happen. Kansas men have won 23 straight Big 12 conference openers. Tonight they'll go for number 24 in Waco. A preview is on the way. Plus, the Eudora High boys basketball team off to a flying start without its best player. Andrew Baker has those details after this.
I would say that there's probably 50% of the teams in our league, 5, that have a legitimate shot at winning our league.
Welcome back to sports, everyone. For the past decade, 50% of the Big 12 has not been a factor in the chase for the Big 12 conference title. Bill Self's team has won 10 straight and embarks on its journey for number 11 tonight against Baylor. A year ago, Jayhawks upended the Bears in Waco by 17. This year, after losing its conference opener at Oklahoma, BU is 11-2. This evening, KU hopes to drop the Bears to 0-2 in league play.
Al Freeman, we recruited Alaric, and he hasn't really gotten a groove shooting the ball from behind the arc, and we know he's a great shooter, but they can all shoot it. And then they got whenever Prince is making threes. I don't know how many he made against OU. I think he may have made 3, but whenever he's making threes and they play him at the 4, it obviously puts stress on your defense because they can stretch it.
It's real different, the intensity, the fans, the away crowds, the home crowds, everything about it's different. And we just try to keep the guys, don't let them go in blind. Some of us, we went in blind last year, but don't let them go in blind and just know that every possession really counts.
It helps us a lot because, we play against a great competition and we play against teams with different styles of play. And in the Big 12 this year, as you can see, it's a lot of great teams. So we're just coming in with a full head of steam and just trying to, get number 11.
Game time tonight sets for 8. Well, while the Kansas men hit the road, the Kansas women play right here in Lawrence. Tonight at Allen Fieldhouse, the Jayhawks host Oklahoma for their Big 12 Conference home opener.
They're a team that plays great scouting report defense. They'll be prepared for Chelsea, obviously. So we've got to, move the ball, share the ball. But defensively, we've got to limit threes, limit lane line drives. They've got some guys that shoot it really, really deep, so it's going to stretch us a little bit. So a tremendous challenge for us. But what a great opportunity for us to open up at home and in conference play.
Time tonight set for 7. Let's head to the prep ranks now, where the defending state champion Eudora High boys basketball team just keeps on winning. Even without the services of sophomore superstar Mitchell Ballack, Andrew Baker has those details.
A year ago, they were the best team in the state of Kansas. Guided by the leadership of Andrew and Mitchell Ballack, the Eudora boys basketball team was crowned kings of the Class 4A Division II level. This season, the Cards once again are off to a nice start, winning 5 of their first 6 games.
Yeah, it seems like we haven't played a game in a long, long time before Christmas. But yeah, I think we're about to the point now we're ready to play against somebody. So we've been going for about a week and kids are getting a little antsy and it's time to go play against somebody else.
Currently, EHS is ranked outside the top 5 in Class 4A, but one major reason for that ranking is the Cardinals are without one of their top talents in Mitchell Ballack, who has been sidelined this far with a stress fracture in his foot.
Last time I talked to him, he said about 2 weeks, but last time he said that he tried playing and he felt like it wasn't 100%. So I think he'll come back when he's absolutely ready to, but we'll just keep working until then.
Now with Ballack on the shelf, the Cardinals have turned to their upperclassmen, and they've definitely risen to the challenge. Junior Austin Downing and senior Jade Ray have been major pieces this far for head coach Kyle Dieterding.
I mean, people were doubting us at the beginning. I'm not saying everyone was, but most people were doubting us, saying that we wouldn't win without Mitch, and just because, you know, it's Mitch. And we just, all we're in practice, like, we're going to have to work twice as hard. Everybody, more players are going to have to step up, and I feel like we've been doing that lately, and we've been clicking.
Yeah, he's done a good job on the scoring part of it. He's done a really good job helping us out and getting quite a few points, and all those other kids have stepped up in other ways, whether it's defense or rebounding or all those little things that everybody's trying to pitch in to try to help us do.
Now when Ballack does return, the sky is the limit for this Cardinals basketball team. However, if you ask the members of the squad their one goal for this season, it's to repeat as state champions.
It'll be good because you never know what could happen if he comes back, if he was to get hurt again, or he's tired one game or something, or he fouls out, but we already have that chemistry of not playing with him, so us playing without him right now it's going to help out a lot in the long run.
Andrew Baker, 6 Sports.
Hey, thanks, Andrew. Meanwhile, at Free State High this afternoon, the Firebirds swimming and diving team hosting several others, including Lawrence High. In early results, Jordan Portella winning the 200-yard freestyle in 1:45.57 seconds. Mean Green teammate Jack Ziegler taking first in the 50 freestyle in 21.68. And finally, quick programming note, new episode of Varsity Showcase can be seen live tonight at 7:30. Joining Andrew Baker on the show, how about Eudora High's Mitchell Ballack, see how he's doing, and Free State High's Emily Bermel. That is Varsity Showcase with Andrew Baker coming up on Channel 6. Again, that's at 7:30. KU men's game starts at 8.
So watch it and then watch the game.
Worked out just perfect.
We got it. All right, thanks, Kevin. Well, historians open a time capsule from America's founding, their trip back to the 1700s. That's next. A time capsule is opened in Boston more than 200 years after it was first buried by American revolutionaries. Historians found themselves in the year 1795 with 5 newspapers, 23 coins, and a silver plate with the names Sam Adams and Paul Revere. The items will be put on display in Boston after they conserve what was found inside. It's unbelievable.
Very cool stuff.
That is very neat. I wish we could have a time travel. Go back.
I would like to read the newspaper articles.
Yes.
I want to see what that's about.
Just like the grammar and everything would be interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for joining us. See you back here tonight at 10.